So, why embracing the fab life? Embracing the fab life came out of a family movement. Um, Basically, as a way for our family to grow and get out of a bad situation. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory. Um, a few years back, I had a really good job. And while I was working at that job, my mom got sick. She was dealing with some health problems, and those health problems caused her to become um, pretty much disabled. So, like, during that time, a lot of people were saying, well, you should probably put her in a home. You should do whatever. That's too much on you. I was a single mom taking care of my kids by myself. And people were like, well, that's too much for you to handle and all that. But I'm like, that's my mom, period. That's my mom. So I moved her in with me. And during that time, I started to realize that she needed to not just be with me, she needed around the clock care. So it got to a point where I ended up quitting my job because I felt like my mom was more important and I needed to be with her and I needed to be there for her. So I quit my job and that just started kind of a snowball effect. After a while, I didn't have, I depleted all of my savings because I was using that to pay my bills. At the time that I was working, I had always been an entrepreneur at heart. So I had a business, and at the time it was pretty much like a hobby. I was doing it on the side because I was working, and all of my income was coming from the bulk of my income was coming from my job. So after I quit my job, things kind of went downhill from there. You know, I ended up in like financial and emotional crisis. Not only did it get to the point where like I couldn't really pay my bills and I was having a hard time trying to take care of my family, but I went through what they call a deep depression. Watching your parent, like when you grow up, me and my mom are very close. She's like my best friend. So watching her go through the health problems she went through was really hard for me. And then it got to the point where like all the pressure was on me. I had to take care of everybody. I had to figure out how I was going to pay the bills. I had to take care of my mom. I had to take care of my children. And there was just so much. And it got to the point where I pretty much depleted myself. I felt like I was completely gone. I was nothing but a caregiver. All of me was gone, if that makes sense. Like I no longer existed. I was only existing to take care of everybody else. And I just went through such a deep depression, and it got to the point where it was very scary. So when I got to that, to me that was like a rock bottom moment. When I got to my rock bottom, it was hard because I didn't have anybody to help. I didn't have anybody that I could call and say, "Hey, we need help." I had to do everything on my own. I had no choice. I had to do it. So it got to the point where, like, once I got into the depression, it was very scary. And I knew I needed to make a change. I knew that something had to change because I couldn't keep living like that. My kids couldn't keep living like that. It was affecting them to see their mom going through the things that I was going through. So at that point, I made a decision. I said, you know what? I have to change my life. I got to figure out a way to do this because nobody's going to do it for me. I have to do it on my own. So, embracing the fab life came out of me deciding, okay, it's time to make some changes. It's time to make some changes in my personal life because, like I said, I was completely lost in it. All of who I was lost to the point where I didn't even know what I like to do anymore because I hadn't done anything fun for myself in so many years. So I got to the point where I realized I had to do something to change my life. Nobody was going to do it for me. If I wanted to have a great life, I had to change it. I had to find ways to do it. I had to find ways to grow my business to make sure that I could pay my bills and take care of my family because I knew in my situation I couldn't work outside of the house. I had to be with my mom. And also during that time, my kids became entrepreneurs. I taught them what it means to be an entrepreneur. I taught them how to have their own business. So one of the things that they will be doing is teaching other children what entrepreneurship means, teaching them how to start their own business. And pretty much this Embracing the Fab Life is our journey of getting out of our rock bottom moment and building our life. It's like rebuilding our life. And in the process, I hope that we can encourage other people who, because there's so many people that go through rock bottom situations, so many people that go through depression, so many people that go through so many things, and people don't talk about it. Like most people don't talk about it too much. So I hope that we, in doing this, we can encourage other people who are going through the same thing, and hopefully by you watching us go through this journey, it will encourage you to work on doing some things to create a better life for yourself, and how you can get out of your rock bottom moment, how you can create a better life for your family. So just continue to watch our journey, and hopefully you will enjoy. Thanks.